Hi, I'm Midge Shoemaker, and today is day 31 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on my writing. So, yay, I made it to day 31. And yay, I think I'm finally starting to get this whole schedule thing down, or maybe just today. I'm going to take just for today. I'm going to go with today. I like today. Anyway, I got up today. Wasn't like 10 in the morning like I wanted to, but it was more like 11:15, 11:30ish anyway. But I read my scriptures, meditationals, and I started doing my writing. So that when my friend called me this afternoon, I was doing my writing and met with my counselor, and now I get to do my video and go to work. So yay! And I did play some games a little bit this morning and after meeting with my counselor because I'm trying to get myself to stop yawning. Because part of my trauma therapy, the way that I process things is through yawning. So usually after a session, a lot of stuff comes up, and then I have like several times of yawning, and then I just feel really tired, especially today because we were talking about a lot of things that, and my counselor made the comment, that must be very exhausting for me. And I'm like, oh, it is. And now I'm thinking about all these things that are exhausting to me and making me tired, and I still have to go to work tonight. Yay! That is the problem with holding on to emotions is they come back up and they feel very real in the moment. And so a lot of tired that I didn't process, a lot of sleep that I didn't get comes back to haunt me sometimes, which maybe why yawning is my way of processing things, because I just need to get all of that out of my system. So I'm going to apologize in advance if I start doing some big giant yawns. I am trying really hard to hold it in while I'm doing this video, and I don't know how well that's going to work. But I'm very grateful for my friend for reminding me that I am doing a very good job of facing my emotions and my feelings and processing things, because I got up and did my scriptures and meditationals and realized that I needed to be focusing more on today and living in the moment and facing whatever today has to offer, because my life isn't horrible. It's just not what I want it to be, and I have spent most of my life focusing on what I want it to be and complaining about what it isn't instead of accepting what I have. So I did a lot of thinking last night and today, and realizing that there's a lot of little things that I can do to accept my circumstances for the time being. I know they're only temporary, but it doesn't mean that I have to be miserable in my temporary circumstances. It doesn't mean I have to continue to fight to be miserable. Sometimes I think I'm just fighting to prove that I'm miserable, that my life is woe is me, worse than other people's. And I was like, hello, my life isn't horrible. It's maybe not turning out the way that I want it to. Maybe things are taking longer to happen than I want it to. Maybe I've been redirected too many times, maybe not too many times, but I keep being redirected by God to go in a different direction that I didn't think that I wanted to go in, like these YouTube videos and my writing, not things that I thought I wanted to do. Maybe writing books, but fantasy books, not necessarily books about myself. So just a lot of retraining of my brain, refocusing my thoughts and my directions, and realizing today that having issues with my emotions. I feel like I don't face my emotions, that I've held on to them for a long time, because I have. And I have a lot of emotions to process, a lot of emotions that keep coming up that I have to keep working through. That's old emotions. But what I'm still struggling to learn, and I realized today, I guess, is that I need to live in the moment. I need to live in today. I need to separate what happened from the past to what's going on in the present to future possibilities. But I need to stop running away from what happened in my past, or using my past experience as an excuse not to enjoy present experiences, or putting negative onto future possibilities. I also need to not look so far into the future that I can't enjoy today, because a lot of times if I'm uncomfortable in the moment or in the day, I'm like, okay, well, tomorrow it's going to be this, and then this, and then this, and then this. And the next thing you know, I've planned like the whole next year of my life. And I have no idea what happened today because I spent my entire day thinking about what I'm going to do for the next year. And I'm very good at that. Very, very good at that. Anything to avoid feeling whatever I'm feeling at the moment. And So today was kind of a reminder that I'm like, yes, I am stronger than my emotions. Yes, I can push them down. I can do all of those things, but it doesn't mean that I should. I need to find a balance, and I am very good at the extremes, one or the other. And I know I can't feel and deal with all of my emotions from my past all at once. And I need to learn how to deal with my emotions in the present, because I have a lot of emotions in the present too. Some good, some bad, some. I need to stop putting that on there. I have emotions. They're not necessarily good or bad, they're just part of life. They are things that allow me to experience life and live in the moment. And I have spent most of my life living in some kind of a haze. I and I can't say that I did that when I was a child. I think when I was really young, I used to enjoy the moment, and I used to be excited about every little thing that I would see, and I would point it out and be excited. And I know that there have been times as an adult with different jobs or different things where I'm just like, oh, look at this. This is so exciting. Check this out. And I actually pay attention to what's going on around me. But when I am feeling kind of depressed, or when I'm feeling overwhelmed or discouraged, or I just don't want to deal with whatever today has to hold, whether it's good, bad, whatever it is. Sometimes I don't even know. I'm just like, it's not what I want today to be. Just not in the mood to deal with today, whatever. Whatever that mood is. I don't know. That happens a lot to me as an adult, a lot in my teenage years. I learned to daydream. I learned to create stories in my head to run away. And sometimes I feel like I live in kind of this haze or this fog, because what I did for the day was daydream. My body was going through the motions. It was going out into the world, and I have no idea what I was doing, but I created a bunch of stories in my head. I was living in a whole other world. And I don't feel the emotions in the moment. I don't process what's happening in my life. And I don't know if that's why my brain doesn't always process things, or it shuts down when bad things happen, if that's just a trained response. And maybe it is. Maybe it is just a trained response. Like, I just don't process because I don't pay attention. I get bored with a conversation or a situation. I'm like, I'm bored. I'm going somewhere else in my brain. It just, I'm like, let's go on the imagination train. I love that train. It's my friend. We go round, 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 round circles in my head. The problem is nobody else is on that train with me. And it's great to ride that train when I'm writing my stories, and working on my books, because all those ideas can just flow out of me and into my chapters and into my stories. And it's awesome. A little bit scary sometimes too, because I have to pull the emotions up with it. But it also gets the emotions out, which is a really good thing for me to do. It helps me to see things in a different perspective, to think differently, to approach things differently. And I can use the stuff that I'm writing, that I'm learning in my everyday life to make progress, to make changes. But for me to face my emotions every day, to face today and just be like, I am staying in today. Let's see how that goes today. And that is a challenge for me, because I'm not comfortable with that. It is outside of my comfort zone. It doesn't make it bad or wrong. It's just different. It is uncomfortable because it is new to me, because that is not, it's a foreign concept in my brain. It just is. And it's hard for me to understand how to do that. But I learned something in my 12 step. There's like one of those readings, meditationals, that talks about someone saying their sponsor told them that they needed to just repeat what they were doing over and over and over again to get outside of their head. Like, I'm exercising, I'm riding the treadmill, I'm folding socks, I'm doing laundry, I'm washing dishes, and just repeating in their mind like what they're actually physically doing, to be aware of what they're doing. I haven't done that today. That's probably something I need to start working on doing, instead of daydreaming or whatever I do. So I'm telling you, like, my brain goes other places, and I'm like, I don't remember how I got where I'm here, because I'm like, oh wow, cool. I was somewhere else in my head. So I need to learn how to face my emotions, and not just the ones in the past, but the ones that come up presently, because I'm missing out on so many things by living in a haze, by constantly daydreaming. I'm missing the scenery that I'm driving past. I'm missing the people that I'm talking to in my life. I'm not enjoying the moments that I have. So it makes it harder for me to see the positive things because I'm not focusing on them. I'm not seeing them because I'm running away from the bad things that happened in my past. And they happened in my past. They're not happening today. There is nothing today that is hurting me. There's things in today I don't like, but there's things in today I do like. And today I do like that I got up. Today I do like that I went to work, not work to make money per se, but I got up and I followed through on my plans, my goals for the day of reading my scriptures and meditationals, of doing my writing, of going to work earlier. And I'm still going to work a little later than I wanted to, but one, I got up at least like an hour to an hour and a half later than my plan of getting up at 10 in the morning, but still 11:15. Come on, that's good for me. I didn't have to do that, but I did, and I'm grateful that I did that. And then I worked on my book. I read my scriptures and meditationals. I realized I'm like, okay, I need to just start facing my stuff instead of avoiding my stuff. I need to go work on my books and my writing first instead of playing my games on my phone first. So doing that, it kind of eliminates the desire to play the games on my phone, or it's like I just play for a minute and I'm like, yeah, I'm done. I'm bored with the phone thing because I can just go to bed. I did that last night. I was like, I did everything and I was like, cool. And I came home and I just wrote in my journal after work last night and I was like, and I'm just going to bed. So I'm like, habit, I pulled out my phone to play games and I'm like, and I'm too tired. I'm just going to bed. So, which is okay. I think that's a good thing. I don't need to play games on my phone. I don't need to watch TV or movies. I don't need those things. I use those things to fill a void. I use those things to avoid dealing with my life, dealing with my emotions, facing my day, processing my day. And it's not even like my day was bad. It's just a habit. I have got in the habit of avoiding feeling my daily emotions. And that's not good because here I am trying to deal with and process all this old emotion to get out of my system. And what am I doing? I'm just adding more to the pile by ignoring today. So instead of doing today and a little bit of the old stuff, I'm like, let's just add today's stuff to the old stuff. And then it just becomes a never-ending cycle of old stuff. And I don't need to do that today, which I'm grateful for. I do realize it's going to take me a while to get in the habit of living in the moment, of feeling the moment, of accepting whatever is going on in the moment, whether I'm happy, sad, frustrated, angry, tired, lonely, hungry. Speaking of hungry, I'm hungry. I need to remember to eat. See, very good at ignoring how I'm feeling, including my hunger and my tired. Because and it's good to know that I can work through those things when I need to, but it's good to know that I can stop and I can listen to myself. I can feel what I'm feeling, and then I can decide, what am I going to do with this feeling? I'm hungry. Okay, I'm going to go get something to eat. I'm tired. Okay, I'm going to take a nap. I'm tired. Okay, I know you're tired, but maybe if we get up and move around or we get something to eat, we'll feel a little bit better because we got too many things to do and we got to work through this right now and we can sleep later, or I can be like, okay, these are the things I have left to do, and then I can take a nap or I can go to bed and it'll be okay. Maybe I can get a few extra hours of sleep tonight to make up for it. Something to that effect. I'm bored. Okay, well, what can I do that's fun? Maybe I can play games on my phone. Maybe I can call a friend. Maybe I can, I don't know, clean something in my house, because my house doesn't have to be a disaster area, which is another thought I was having, that if I want to accept where I'm at for the time being and be comfortable where I'm living, I can clean it. I can do my dishes. I can bake. I can do things that I enjoy doing. And if I bake stuff, that would be cool, because then I would have homemade bread. I would have homemade muffins and pancakes and other things, and I could take those things to work with me. And then I don't spend money buying food, going out to eat, because then I'm using the food that I'm buying at the store, and buying at the store and making it is so much cheaper and saves me so much money. So again, all things that if I'm focused on myself and paying attention to how am I feeling or what do I want to accomplish today, and focus on my goals for the day and focus on myself, I feel better, I get more accomplished, and I'm just more aware of what's going on around me. And I like the idea of being more aware of what's going on around me. Notice I said I like the idea because I have not mastered this concept. My brain always does the let's do the haze thing. Oh, This isn't working. How do we avoid this? Let's pretend this isn't happening. I think it's like on automatic. It's got that automatic pilot button that I need to get switched off somehow, to avoid feeling or even avoid things that are uncomfortable. And honestly, just facing today and staying in the moment is uncomfortable because it's outside of my comfort zone. It's outside of my little box, comfort box, whatever. So I'm like, oh, I'm being stretched. I'm having to learn and grow and do new things. And they're good things. They're great things. And I know that they're very beneficial for me. And that is why God is pointing them out to me and saying, hey, Midge, check this out. You can do this. This is good for you. You're going to learn a lot more things. You're going to see a lot more things. Life is going to become so much more interesting. And I was like, are you sure? Because I think it's interesting enough. I'm good. Can I just stay in my little corner? And God is like, ha ha ha, Midge, that's funny. Go to work. Come out. Check this out. It's so cool. And it is. It is a much better way to live my life. And I am grateful for that. And I am grateful that I can discover these things and see things differently. I am grateful for the change in my perspectives. And I feel like I've just been talking about all the things I'm grateful for and the things I'm learning today instead of my writing. But I discovered a lot of that emotional thing when I read my scriptures and meditationals, and then I pray to see myself the way that God sees me, and I write down the things that I need to see. And today, that's what I needed to see when I was writing, was that I need to live in the moment and enjoy today and face today's emotions, today's things. And they're not scary. They're not bad. I haven't had anything bad happen to me today. It's actually been very good for me. So, but I've trained myself to be afraid of my daily emotions, to not pay attention to what's going on, to just, I am present physically here. It does not mean that I am mentally aware of anything going on in my life. So this is a new challenge for me. And for some crazy reason, I like challenges. I like to learn new things. So God is using that. He's like, hey, let's do a new challenge today. So I don't know how well I'm going to do at living in the moment or in today or even for the rest of tonight for that matter. But I think I've done okay today to this point. And I did work on my writing. I just kind of scrolled through my chapters for recognizing God's hand in my life. And I kind of stopped on one and just started reading through it. And I realized that I thought that I had started 3 different chapters with the same story. And it doesn't look like I actually did that by reading one of them. I think I just used the beginning of the story kind of to clarify which friend or person I was talking about, kind of like I do in my YouTube videos where I say my friend that helped me with my vision board, or my friend that's doing my book covers that moved away, or my beta reading friend, or my just, different ways to point out my friends without saying their names, because I'm trying. I do realize that I did mention one of my grandmother's names in my book. It's just her first name, and she's passed away, so I'm pretty sure that's okay. And I mentioned our dog's name that I had when I was a kid, but again, I had him when I was a kid, and I'm pretty sure dogs don't live that long. And he ran away, so I'm pretty sure he's dead at this point. I was already sad and missed him after he ran away and was no more, but I didn't know where he went or what happened to him. Didn't have any control over that either. So I think those are the only names that I've actually mentioned in my book. We'll probably only mention those names in my book. So trying to make sure that what I'm writing is not confusing and clarifies who I'm talking about. So I made reference to my friend based on the story that I wrote about in the book. I think that's why it starts, the 3 different chapters look like they start with the same story, and it's not the same story. It's just reference to my friend, I think. I only read through one of them, so I'm not entirely sure. And I just basically revised a chapter, read through it, found some stuff at the bottom that I'm like, okay, this is good information. This is a nice story, but it doesn't fit with the story that I just had. Some of this I'm not even sure I'm going to keep, but I'm just going to set it aside just in case I decide I want it later. And some of it I do want later, but it just wasn't fitting with what I wanted to put in the story that I felt like I needed to put in the story. And I'm like, in order to put this in the story, it has to go here, but then the other part doesn't make any sense. So I had to go, I was like, I have to move that. I have to find another place to put that part of the story. And I think that I'll be able to, after like talking with my counselor today and some things that were coming up, I'm like, I think I have a whole other chapter to deal with those things that might either come after the chapter that I just did or come before. I don't know. And the chapter that I did today doesn't connect with the other 3 or 4 chapters that I've actually done. So it's just kind of a floating chapter, which is fun. But the nice thing about working with recognizing God's hand in my life is knowing that each chapter, the idea is to just to take the different parts of my life that have the same storyline, the same emotional concept, the same repeated behaviors, issues, whatever problem that I had to deal with over a period of time. So in this case, the one that I worked on, I called it Shunned. I titled it Shunned at Church. I don't know if that's the best title for a chapter, but that's what I called it, because basically, after my parents got divorced, my family became a plague and nobody wanted to have anything to do with us. So it was interesting having to still go to church and face all those people that made it obvious that they didn't want to have anything to do with us. Just turned around, wouldn't look at us, wouldn't talk, wouldn't communicate, or were just like, that's nice, okay, and then walk away. So I got a lot of that growing up. So I wrote about that today. Well, actually, I wrote about it before. I just kind of read through it, made a few revisions, and then added mostly notes from the present, like my perspective, things that happened to me as an adult in relation to some of the people that mistreated me when I was growing up, and kind of my perspective on the situation now and things that I'm grateful for because of that. So I think it makes a nice, well-rounded little chapter. I just need to figure out how it fits in with the other chapters of my life in the story, in the book. It's not really a story, I guess. It's just another chapter in my life, and just need to figure out where it goes so that it kind of flows from one theme to another. But that's the theme of that chapter, I guess. So the nice part is that they're all just kind of themed, and I just need to figure out which order to put the themes in for the final version of the book. But I think I need to do another theme before that. I need to go back to the whole family dynamic theme, and then go into the church dynamic theme, and then go into the other adult themes and things. Just trying to make it all make some semblance of sense. I'm still trying to figure out how to reorganize it and go back through and figure out what I wrote and what I was thinking when I wrote it. But it was nice to just go through and be like, okay, this chapter, when I was trying to read through stuff and figure it out, just sort of made sense, and I had responses to it. So I'm like, I guess this is the chapter I'm working on today. So I'm okay with that, and I'm grateful it's one that I could just move the chapters around if I need to, and maybe it'll end up in that spot. But there's 1 or 2 chapters before it that still need to be fixed, edited, or deleted. I don't know which, and they'll be there tomorrow or another day. So I'm grateful that works out. And I started working on Ray Lanoia and the Teachers of Powers. I got to chapter 18. I kind of skimmed over the end of 17 because I finished 17 yesterday, and I was but I wanted to make sure that I was okay with how it ended, and make sure that I didn't miss something from my friend that did the beta reading thing. We swapped beta readings, and she made some comments, but I went back through and looked at her comments, and most of them I'd already changed the story. And because I changed the conversation, the interaction with the characters, those comments kind of no longer applied. And one of them, it did still apply, and I looked at it, and it just didn't make sense to me. I was like, I don't understand this. And I'm not a grammar person, but it just didn't look like a complete sentence. She wanted me to put a question mark somewhere where I'd put a comma, and then take the rest of the question and turn it into just a regular sentence that wasn't a question. And it didn't look like a complete sentence to me. It didn't make sense to do that. So I just left it with the comma and the question at the end of the whole sentence to me. I could be totally wrong. And maybe when I find someone to edit my book, they will go back through and tell me that you have to do it the way that my friend said it. But I'm like, I'm not going to make myself do something that doesn't make sense with my writing to me. So when I read it, I want it to make sense to me, and that just didn't make sense to me. I could be totally wrong. Like I said, I'm not very good at grammar and punctuation things, so it's probable that she's right and I'm totally wrong, but I left it the way that it was because it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, sorry, this doesn't make sense. I'm leaving it the way it is. And then I started the next chapter, and I was like totally confused. I changed a couple things in the conversation, and then I got to the next conversation, part of the conversation, the next person's comment, and I was staring at it. I'm like, I don't remember just changing this. This doesn't make sense. Where is this going? I am so confused. So I had to go actually look at a old version of it. I actually just looked at my beta reading friend's version because I hadn't changed her version. I was changing my version to keep it all separate. So I just had to go back through, and it was just a couple paragraphs, and I was like, yeah, that sort of worked the previous conversation, but it didn't really work. And I was like, and now it doesn't work at all. So I'm like, that sentence is gone. It doesn't make any sense. But I only got a couple paragraphs into it. I only spent like maybe 15, 20 minutes working on it. I wanted more time. I really did. I really do. But I have responsibilities and other things. And realizing that, okay, if I'd gotten up an hour earlier, I might have had the hour that I needed to finish that chapter today and still be able to do everything else that I need to do in order for me to be on schedule, to be going to work and putting in enough hours to make enough money to pay the bills without wearing myself out, still having enough time to do my writing and do all of my other things. So trying to find that balance and allow myself the time to sleep. So I'm grateful that I was actually aware of the time today. I was actually paying attention to what time it was, which like I said, I zone out and don't do that a lot of times. So I paid attention today, which yay, I paid attention. Yay, I got up, I went to work. I started doing the things that I've been talking about doing for probably months on these videos. Like, I need to flip my schedule. I need to do this differently. And I never do it. I keep fighting myself when I don't do it. And so I feel very victorious today. I feel very grateful. I am succeeding at what I said I was going to do. And I am so not doing it perfectly. And I so don't care. Because I am learning to celebrate the little victories. I am learning to be grateful for the little moments where I'm like, yes, I got something right. I did this. I'm doing this. And I know I'm not going to do it perfectly. And I'm grateful I can let go of the need to do it perfectly. I don't have to beat myself up for whatever. I'm like, I didn't set an alarm. I actually just woke up on my own. Granted, it was only about 6 hours. I got about 6 hours of sleep, but hey, that's way better than 4 or 5 that I've been getting. I can function better on 6 hours of sleep, and if I do things right, I can maybe get 7 hours of sleep tonight. We'll see. My goal for right now is to try to get somewhere between 7 and 8 hours of sleep, to convince my body to sleep for at least 7 hours straight. Ultimately, I want to sleep for 9, which I know that sounds kind of insane to some people, but I have heard that 9 hours is what your body needs to I don't know, to process everything. Because like when you're sleeping, that's when your liver and your kidneys and stuff, they function and they clean everything out and they do all of that stuff. And it, for the best results, that you need more sleep. Your body needs the sleep to recuperate, to do things. If I get enough sleep, I don't get headaches as often or as severe. I think that's part of why I get headaches. I also have had mono and chronic fatigue in my life. So I think my body just requires more sleep. And I know most kids are supposed to sleep like 9 to 10 hours, and in order for their bodies to grow and develop and all of that stuff. And I think as adults, we probably still need that much sleep. We just learn to deprive ourselves of sleep and learn to function without it. Doesn't mean that we should. It just means that we do. So I would like to try to make it so that I am allowing my body to get that amount of sleep. I'm going to start with 7 hours, though. I will be thrilled to get 7 hours of sleep because I know I function way better when I get set between 7 and 9 hours of sleep than I do when I get between 5 to 7, or 4 to 6 or whatever. Anything less than 7 hours is not good for me. And the closer I get to 9, the better I feel, the more energy I have throughout the day, the less likely I am to be like, oh, I'm falling asleep in the middle of the day and need a nap or whatever the case may be. So, but I have gone several years of only doing the 4 hours of sleep and then working for a few hours. And because I used to be a school bus driver and I just would go to bed at night, and so then I would sleep on my breaks, and so my sleep was all jumbled up. So I'd sleep for like 5 hours and then I'd go to work, and then I'd sleep for like 3 hours and or something, or I'd sleep for 4 hours and then sleep for 2 hours, and I'm getting like a total of 6 or 7 hours of sleep, and it's all spread out throughout the day. It's not even consecutive. So to convince my body to sleep for 7 consecutive hours again will be amazing, and the fact that it let me do it for 6 last night was awesome. So I'm rambling and I need to be going to work. So I'm trying also, again, to pay attention to what I'm doing, to pay attention to what I'm talking about in these videos, and to be aware of the time. It's hard to know what time it is when I do these videos, though. I know I ramble for very long periods of time. I've been going, but I think the longest one I've done is like 51 minutes, 55 minutes or something. I don't know. I've had some really long videos. Most of my videos seem to average around 30 minutes, 30 to 40 minutes. So I have apparently lots to say, lots of rambling that I do. I'm very good at that. So thank you for your patience. And if you like these videos, you can hit like, subscribe. If you think it'll help someone else, you can share it with them. And I hope you have a great day full of gratitude. Okay, I want to end my video, but I keep thinking my little thing that I say, that I'm doing these videos to help other people. So you know that there is a way up, there is a way out, there is hope, and that is through our Savior, Jesus Christ. And I am grateful that He has been helping me to do these videos and to do my writing and to share my testimony in these videos and to share the things that I am learning, and how it has helped me to change and to be a better person, or at least be more aware of who I am and how my actions affect myself and how they affect other people. And I'm hoping that as people watch these videos, that you can see the changes that I'm making, and that it will inspire you to make changes in your life as well. Or if nothing else, it will help you to know that you're not alone in whatever it is you're struggling with, and that there is a way up, there is a way out, there is hope. And okay, and that's just what I feel like I needed to say. So hope you have a great day.